Hello, good morning. Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Happy Sabbath to you all. It's a pleasure, as always, to be with you all. Bonsoir tout le monde. Bonsoir. Good evening. My name is Pastor Lexius Brenny, and I'm very happy and I'm very delighted to be with you all once more on this Sabbath evening. In a few moments, Sabbath will be no more, but would like to greet you in the name of the Lord our God on this evening. So we would like to look into in a way to continue the conversation that we had last night, and I hope that you had fun with us last night as we were looking into why the youth, if you're a young person, why you should not leave the church. So we shared with you some of the reasons why, if you're a young person, you don't want to leave the church. So tonight we're going to look at something along the same line, but a little bit different, but same difference, right? Tonight we're going to be looking at some lack of parental involvement leads to various problems in our youth face today. Lack of parent involvement, and of course we're not going to be throwing shade at the parents. We're not going to be attacking the parents. We're going to look at it from a societal standpoint, from a today reality standpoint. So stay put as we're going to be discussing various things on this evening as it relates to the lack of parental involvement, which, by the way, it's not, in many cases, it's not the parents' fault, but in a lot of cases, it's the parents' fault, right? So we're going to look into some of the things that really come into play when lack of parental involvement is in place. Again, if this is your first time, connecting with this channel, if you have not yet done so, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm going to post this QR code on here where you can simply click on this QR code. You can only scan it, right? This is how we do it today. You just scan it, and it will take you to my channel where you can register. So whenever we come on here, you will get notified. Let's buckle up. We're gonna start on this with our conversation very, very, very shortly. Let me change one thing here. My thing should be saying good evening, not good. Okay, let me change that very quickly. Good evening. Okay. All right. Well. So for those of you who know who I am, for those of you who've been listening to me, you know I'm very, very passionate about the youth and young adults. When it comes to young people, I'm very passionate about that. So this evening, I'm not gonna be wasting your time. So I decided I was going to be addressing this evening the situation with the issue with dress, the modesty situation, right? Dress in our church and situations with, various situations that we have in our church today. I think dress is a big one. But one thing that I realize, right? Oftentimes we are beating situations on the symptoms. We never really get to the root of the problem. So this evening, it is my attempt, it is my desire to get to the root of the problem of dressing, of the lack of attendance, and the dressing. Oh my Lord, my phone just, the dressing, the lack of attendance, the lack of interest that we are seeing today. We're gonna get to the root of all of that. We're not going to just, be focusing on just the dress, right? The modesty part. So we're gonna get to the stem of the problem this evening. So if again, for those of you joining in, we welcome you. Thank you for coming on, and we it's always good to have you. We want to hear from you, whatever that you think, whatever that's going through your mind as we are going to be talking about this, and just share. Do not be shy. Do not be afraid to share your thoughts, what you think, what you got going on when it comes to the topic of parent involvement today. Okay, so I've been talking a lot now. Okay, now the Bible says in Proverbs 22, Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, that we should train up a child in the way that the child should go, right? We should train up a child in the way that the child should go. All right, this is no stranger. We all know this verse. We know it's a charge given to us as parents. Okay. Today it's kind of crazy. Okay? It's kind of crazy today that the enemy of our lives, the enemy of our soul, has caused us to get enticed and get connected, get involved in certain things. So get entrapped in a lot of things that we are basically. Okay, so what I'm trying to get to is that, let me get directly to this thing, right? We have issues today when it comes to parenting. If you are not ready to, as I was listening to in my pastor preaching today, my pastor said, if you are not ready to have to parent children, to parent for real, if you're not ready to parent like parenting is supposed to be, please do yourselves a favor, and just do humanity a favor. Do the church a favor. Don't have children. It's just as simple as that. Because once you have children, you have to step into that situation. Okay, so I'm not want to talk about too much of parenting today, right? So because of the way that society is going on today, some parents have no choice but to have very limited involvement in the lives of the children. Okay, and what we are seeing today in our churches, right? I know we complain about the end result. We complain about the lack of involvement from the youth. We complain about that they dress provocatively, that they maintain themselves in a way that's not appropriate to our standard. We understand all of that, but can we take some time? Can we stop for a moment and look at the problem at the root? Look at the stem of the problem. So the young people, they are young. They need discipleship, right? Right. If those who just drop them on this world do not take the time to get him acquainted with reality, to get him on the right path. As the Bible says, you have to lead the children in the way that they should go. This is not to say that you have to reprimand. Okay? Reprimanding is a part of it, right? It's not all of it, right? It's not just when they go wrong, when they make a mistake, that's when you're going to be ready to reprimand, and therefore you think you are fulfilling leading the children in the way that they should go. It's much more than that. You have to have time for them, right? You have to have time for your children. And a lot of things, for example, the dress situation we have in our church today, right? So if a young person never experienced this attachment, never experienced this connection from parents and from church leaders to know how to dress, if that young girl, if that young lady never really have somebody, just be side by side with her, if she never experienced being side by side with somebody to teach her how to dress, if a young person is learning how to dress on television, the social media, what do you expect? I don't understand why the church cannot just look at these things at the stem of the problem and look to fix this problem. Usually the problem, the problem with dressing that we have today is just the symptom, or the symptom of the problem. This is not the core issue of the problem. So we need to learn to get to the stem of the situations. Many young people today, they may have very partial directives. They have very partial involvement in their lives. But if we are to be honest today, we don't have the time today in this society. We don't have the time that is required to raise our children, right? So unless we want to just flip the script altogether, unless we want to just do something drastic, something out of this society, something abnormal, something unfamiliar, right? If you're not ready to be radical in this time, if you're not ready to be radical in raising your children, you're not going to see the fruit, or you're not going to see labor, then therefore there will be no fruit. Okay, so if we take the time in our churches, right, to really disciple the young people, the young ladies, the young men, you have to be putting in stuff that you want to see in every young person, right? Anything that you want to see, you have to put it in. You have to put it in. So I'm seeing a lazy, older generation today try to lead young people. If you are lazy, when I say lazy, I mean that you're not putting in the work and you expect to see something. The best thing we can drive out this problem with dressing in our church today, we have to take the time. When I say take the time, it's not just take the time to reprimand. It's not just take the time to say this dress is not good. It's not just take the time to just say, hey, I don't like the way that I don't like your earrings. It's much more than that. This young lady, these young men and young lady, they need guidance, so they won't have to go on social media. They don't have to go on TikTok, to learn how to do this thing. The enemy is working, right? All of you listening to me today, the enemy is working today. There's traps out there for the young people. Why are we tripping? Why are we tripping when we don't see the end result that we want to see, when we are not putting in the work? I don't understand. When we have to look at the problem at the stem of it, not just the symptoms that we see from the problem. The lack of the problem we're addressing today, it's not the stem of the problem. The stem of the problem is lack of involvement. There's no leading. The way that the Bible is asking us to lead the children in the way that we should do them, we don't have the time to do it because we are so comfortable in this pressing situation that the devil has set us in. The situation being that we are living in the time that you have to work so hard. And I'm gonna get to the working part, right? You have to work so hard. By the time that you finish working, the little bit of time that you have left, there's not much in it for parenting, right? Sometimes we have to parent at a distance. Sometimes we have to parent. We have to parent at the daycare, right? You know what that is. You know what that means, right? So I'm pointing all these things out to say to you, if you are not willing to snap out of the way that the society is organized, you're not going to be involved in the young people's lives, and you're going to see what you don't want to see. Do you know? Who do you know is involved? Tell me, I would like to hear from some of y'all. Who do you think is really... So have you ever taken the time to think, how does the way we dress today, how does that come about? How does it happen? Fashion. Do you ever take the time to think about things like that? How does fashion come into place? How is it that we embrace we dress a certain way today, and then in a few years that goes away, how do you think these things come about? It's by influence. They don't just drop out of the sky. We need to ask this question. So everything that you were seeing today in place, like the way that the young people are dressing, everything is an influence, right? If you don't have time to fill in the gap to be able to be influential in the lives of your children, you don't think somebody is going to be influential? If that's what you're thinking, you need to think harder, right? Right. Because if you think you don't have the time to fill in the gap, somebody is not going to fill in that gap. You are mistaken, gravely mistaken, my friends. So reason why I'm coming out strong this evening, I'm sick and tired, right? Sick and tired and seeing we are in some of the parents, church leaders are cheating the reality. We are cheating the movement. We are cheating the what we need to do. The Bible says we have to lead the children in the way that they should go. This is not something you do. This is not something you do based on what the way the society is telling you to live. If one parent should not work, okay? If you have to, well, you might say inflation is crazy, right? Well, not all over the country, right? So I'm saying, well, I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I don't know. I'm not the parent. I'm a parent. I'm a parent of mine. So I'm not gonna tell you what to do. What I'm saying is we have a problem. If you are not putting in stuff, I'm telling you. Let me backtrack a little bit. The devil is working. The devil is working so hard, and I'm seeing the fruit of the devil today in the lives of our young people. I'm seeing the fruit of the evil one in the lives of our many young children today. I don't know if you see it. What you see, the dressing and the provocative dressing, all these things, that's the fruit of the devil. That's the fruit of the devil. So how are we going to reverse that? How are we going to reverse that? That's why I'm coming out so strong and being hard on y'all. We have to reverse that thing. We cannot let the devil be eating our children alive, just like that TikTok, all these media stuff, right? Influencing the mind of our young people. The next thing you know, we have to deal with the aftermath we are not ready to deal with. Can you imagine, right? Let's think about this, right? You don't have the time. If we don't have the time to put in the basics, You're not going to have the time to drive out problems. To you're not even gonna have time to pray for the problem that the devil is going to create in the life of our children. Let's face it today. I want us to just face it, right? The dressing and the lack of involvement in our church today, it's much deeper than what we see. This is the lack of involvement from parents, whatever. I know the kids can be various, and not just, when I say parents, I'm looking at various situations, right? If your parents, I'm not saying all parents are not involved. I'm just pointing out this is a serious business. Some of us, we can be involved partially. Partial involvement is not gonna cut it. So, okay, let me look at some of the things we some of the problems we have today because of the lack of involvement, right? The first one, obviously, I'll just point out, is dress, modesty. We expect modesty. we expect modesty. We expect the young people to just look at how you dress and then just dress the way that you dress. Okay. And the problem with that is, let me tell you what the problem is, right? The problem is the young person is looking at somebody online or somebody or whatever, a friend who never really judged that young person. Okay. So that young person is more likely to follow the person who does not judge, the person who does not only rebuke, right? So you have to watch out. You have to watch out how you relate to the young person, right? So if you want to be influential, if you want to replace, if you want to fill in the gap of teaching the young people how to dress and all of these things, you really have to know how to do it. You have to be strategic. And in today and age, you have to be very, very strategic. You think it's a small thing? Parenting is or not. Even if the devil was not there to raising the volume of immorality, to play, to raising the volume of immorality every day, it will be hard. And the devil's doing that, it's much harder. So we're gonna get to a time we're just gonna walk around like losers as parents. If we don't do something right now, we're gonna walk around like losers, like we just give up to the scheme of the evil one. And we cannot let that happen. We cannot. So my friends, let me know in the comment below what you think about the lack of involvement. If you think like I'm thinking, if you agree with me, or if you disagree with it, it's okay. If you think the lack of parental involvement is not a part in some of the things that we are seeing today, lack of parental involvement and leadership involvement is a part in some of the decline that we are seeing today. The second thing I'm going to talk about is low interest, right? Because of the lack of parental involvement and various problems that the youth face today, we see one of the problems that they face today is low interest. Okay. Low interest for church, low interest in family gathering, low interest in in a lot of things as it relates to family, right? Low interest in things that we are interested in as parents, right? Okay, low interest. Let's kind of laser focus on the church for a moment, right? We have a problem of young people not showing too much interest to the things of God. Okay. So as smart people, we got to come to realize, because the human being, the way we have to live alongside of people. So as young people always gonna need somebody who's been there, done that, to influence them, right? So what I'm trying to get to is that if the young people are showing lack of interest in church stuff, that means that their interest is being invested in something else. Okay. we have to look at that. Interest has been invested in something else. So you can't say they don't have interest at all. We can't say that. I don't think so. If we can say they have no interest at all, that would lead us to another problem. So a different problem to focus on. The assessment would be different. But since we know at the bottom of our hearts, we know that they have interest. It's just that the interest is not in the church. They're not interested in things of the church, right? Some part, I have presented before here. I don't want to come out as being inconsistent. So I've presented before. There's a lot of young people involved, a lot of young people interested in the things of the church, but a lot of young people also not involved. And I'm speaking directly to those of you believe that the young people, they're not interested in the church and the research and everything, right? So if they're not interested in the church, they're interested in something else. So why is it that they're not interested in the church? Is it because they don't have any desire? Or is it that they what is it? Is it that they have the knowledge of who God is and just reject it? Is it that they were brought up to the real knowledge of God and reject it? I don't think so. In some cases that may be the case. But if the young people are not interested in the things of the church, it's because the lack of involvement has choked the opportunity for them to be involved in the things of the church. We have to be bold. We have to be responsible to just blame it to the lack of involvement. We have to be. I think it's a great place to start. Lack of involvement is a big problem in every area. Low interest and all of that problem that we have today with young people. So what we can do, we can assess what's really going on in the heart of the young people. We can assess what's really going on. And if we don't do that, you can't have the audacity to just reprimand or just scold somebody that you have not properly instructed in the way of the Lord. You can't do that. You're not worthy. And for someone, you're not worthy as somebody to do that. Okay, let's move very quickly. Last print before you finish it today. Okay, the last point I'm gonna make is lack of involvement. One of the things that the lack of involvement leads to is church growth problem. So all over the nations, if you live in America, and it's like a global problem that the young people are not being involved. Once young people are not being involved, the church is going to suffer. The growth of the church is going to decline. It's going to go down. That's just what it is, right? It's just going to go down because the church goes, the church reality, the church, the existence of the church is based on the people, because we are the church. We are the church. Okay? So we have to be here. We have to be present for the church to be. Okay? So since we are the church, we have to be here for the church to be. So once as we die, people get older and die, then you have to have young people be born and replace those who are dying, right? So if the young people, those who were supposed to replace those who are dying, those who are retiring, those whatever case may be, then that's how the church growth is compromised, right? So we have a lot of reason to get to work right now, and I need to appeal to some of our local conferences and our Seventh Adventist denomination. You are doing great jobs. You are marvelous. You are about the young people. Indeed, we appreciate that. We value your vision. We value everything. We just need to be careful not to only focus on where the money is. We know the young people, they come with no money. And another mistake, I'm not talking about the conference today, but I want to point out this. If we do not focus on really equipping the young people. I know we're using Pathfinder and all these great things, right? But once they move beyond Pathfinder, we have to make sure we keep up with the work, right? So the reason why, so the church will not get to decline, will not continue to decline or continue to die, and to continue to face with low, so the church growth will not be affected. Because if the young people not coming to the church, showing low interest, go out in the world. So they investing in the world, they go to school, then they don't come back to the church. They just go in the world. So basically what we have, we don't get to benefit, to enjoy the labor, what they have, what they can offer, the potential. Okay, so the reason why we are having young people growing in the church, so they can replace, so they can go to school and learn, so they can be benefiting the growth of the church. So we have to keep that in mind as we move forward, as we're tackling some of the situations as it relates to the youth. So again, my friends, it's not only for the youth. Anybody, it could be anybody coming to the church. If you are not involved in properly train that person, it's not, that person is not going to be ingrained. That person is not going to be anchor into the truth. And therefore interest might start to just vanish, to just be drift away, because other things out there are just working to grab the interest of the people, the young people specifically. So I just wanted to come by tonight to provoke and to just interject into your space, to just take a moment to just give you some of these pointers to think about. That lack of, oftentimes, some of the things that we see and the youth are producing, they have to do with the lack of involvement from parents, from leaders, from whoever is supposed to be, in that gap, filling that gap, that in terms of the needs of the young person, of that individual, to say. So I just wanted to come by and just share that with you. I hope on this wonderful Sabbath evening, as I'm about to finish here, I hope that the Lord is leading your life as a parent and as a young person. If you're a young person, I'm gonna tell you this: in these last days, it's going to be hard. Sometime you might be running on empty right now. I know some of the young people, you might be running on empty. Right now, you may have nothing inside of you to face the world. You may have nothing in your bosom to face the struggle of this world right now, but you're not alone. You can always reach out to us. I wish I have your number. I wish I had my number to project it on here, but at the end of this segment, it's going to be my number will be projected. You can reach out. We want to work with you. We want to have conversations with you. We want to lead you in the right way. We want to lead you to the right, resources, right? We want to talk with you. We want to strategize together with you. You may be running on empty for many reasons. Sometimes your parents, it's not because they don't want to invest time in you, but they may not have it. It may be circumstantial, because the circumstances of life, they may not have it. Then therefore you might be running on empty. You have nothing in terms of power to face this dark world, as we are living a cosmic conflict. It's no joke. You may be a young person running on empty right now, as you have nothing in you to face the world. Remember, you're not alone. Although you may not have the involvement of your parents, you're not alone. We are here for you. We are here for you. Okay? It's because sometimes because of the society we live in, we have to wait for people to come to us most of the time. Very, very unlikely people will go to you. But if you're a young person, just reach out for help. Just admit it that you are running on empty. Okay? And your emptiness could be coming from, it could be caused by different reasons. We're not blaming your parents. We're not blaming anybody. We're just saying, because of the situations of life, because of the way the devil has orchestrated a lot of things. He has caused us a lot of disadvantage as young people to navigate, in this gospel peace and what Jesus has created for us. But I give all the glory and honor to the Lord of our God. Jesus understands. We may not understand, we may not have the resources, but Jesus owns everything. God owns everything. So today, it's not gonna be, you're not alone. Don't think you are living in despair. As a young person, understand that this is a battle that we are in, but the battle is already won. Okay, as you are navigating in it, you might be at the point of disadvantage. You might be feeling like you're not receiving, or you're not growing, or you're not being assisted. You're not being, nobody's really paying attention to you. But you are not alone. You might be projecting. You might be in the wrong direction right now. You might be in the wrong place. You might be you might be in a position where you're supposed to be positioned to get the help, but the help is there. Okay, you're not alone. So I just wanted to come by and encourage each and every one of you. I'm going to finish here for this evening. I wish you a happy remaining Sabbath, right? So if you didn't get a chance to, you can always go back and watch this presentation tonight. I think it was very, very interesting. May God bless you all as you continue to stay put and stay strong in these last days, as the devil is roaring like a lion, seeking whom he may devour. Understand that God, Jesus Christ, his blood shed on the cross gave us the victory over this battle that we are fighting right now. We just need to stay put, stay encouraged, no matter how old you are and how young you are. Just stay put, understanding that Christ Jesus has already overcome this battle. The Bible says in this world you're going to have tribulations, but be of good cheer. So the Bible is asking for cheer. God is reminding you that you can start cheering right now. The Bible reminds you that the cheering is on your side. You can start right now, even in the middle of the battle, even in the middle or in the midst of the cosmic conflict. The Bible wants you to think about cheering, like you're gonna be cheering one day, right? But it can start right now. May God bless you, my friend, and have a wonderful remaining Sabbath. And I look forward to see you again. God bless you. Bye-bye.